Halle on the River Saale is an old German city. It used to be the capital of the state of Saxon-Anhalt in the days of the German Democratic Republic. It largely survived the Second World War bombings without as much damage as other cities. Here's a market square with the Church of Our Lady in the background, which is undergoing restoration. The idea about restorations is very interesting. They were started by the German Democratic Republic, even though it was an atheistic regime. They started restoring the old churches, as many of them as could be repaired and were in decent shape after the bombings. And in order to pay for the expenses, since it was an atheist regime, nobody was going to the church, was by turning them into museums and art galleries and concert halls, which is better than nothing. It's an interesting idea, even though not entirely in the Christian spirit of not turning a house of prayer into a house for trade. And this is Moritzburg. It has also very interesting history. It is a castle, so to speak, more like a large stately home, and it was paid for by confiscating the salines, that is the salt extraction mines, or the salt mines that belonged to wealthy citizens. They were appropriated by someone who conquered their town at some point in history. This is the old cathedral, the dome. It was built in the 13th century, but has later additions on the top from the 16th century, I do believe. So here it is, also restored in the days of the German Democratic Republic. And there are some nude statues on the outside, very typical when the restorations were taking place at that time. The president of East Germany liked nude statues, so he put some modern art type nude statues outside all the churches that he repaired and restored. Here are some very odd juxtaposition of profanity, so to speak, with Christian churches, but at least he restored the churches, so that's something. Here is I believe, the childhood home of Georg Friedrich Handel. Here he is, the composer George Friedrich Handel, as he is known in English. So he had a head start, obviously. He must have had wealthy parents if that was their family home. In the center of Old Halle, in the old town. It is a museum today, of course. Another very interesting and important figure from this part of Germany was Martin Luther. He was based in the University of Wittenberg, which is not far from Halle, and today has been united with the University of Halle. So he started the Reformation of the Church in Germany by protesting against the sale of indulgences. He didn't carry the Reformation himself. It was carried out by his followers. And today on this day, when I visited Halle, we were marking the 501 years, the anniversary after his proclamation, which so happens to, in modern times, to coincide with Halloween. It is a holiday in Germany, not because of Halloween, but because it is an anniversary of his proclamation against the sale of indulgences. But some modern Germans, at least, take into Halloween more than into Lutheranism, and it is a rather odd thing, I guess, that in our times you can no longer sell things relating to religion to children or to anyone. It's more of an issue to try and maintain all the many churches without any income. There's less of a problem with Halloween. You can sell things to children, so I guess the manager of the local zoo, which is where I am at the moment, decided that there is profit in that. He set up a project And so he set up this project. Presumably these people are being paid for their positions, so they have to think of ways for the Jew to make money. And so he set up this Halloween day on Martin Luther's day, and here's a coffin floating on the water. I wouldn't say there's some effort going into this, and I don't want to make any social criticism one way or another, although there's a certain irony about the whole thing. It's not even remotely religious a celebration. So here's a bird from, I assume, New Guinea, and a squirrel monkey in the same case. They don't hurt the birds, they're vegetarians, and they are called Totenkopfaffen, head skull monkeys in Germany. Skull-headed monkeys, so it's an interesting kind of name. I don't find them skull-headed, I find them rather cute. So here's some herons, very well camouflaged, if I may say. And some snow owls, a pair of them. They see the world through their ears. They have excellent hearing. So he's turning the head around, he or she, to gauge what's going on. They use their ears much more than their eyes. And back to the interesting Halloween exhibits in the zoo. Yes, we're still in the zoo, and I would say most children around the world will be terrified and have nightmares. But it works in Germany. And another vanity exhibit. There's an artistic side to this. At least it appeals to children. This kind of vanity world. I do believe Halloween was once a commemoration of the dead ancestors. That's how it started thousands of years ago, but today has become party time for children, and the original meaning has been completely lost. And here's a crocodile, doesn't seem to be having fun on this day. He is barely awake. The children are dressed up for Halloween. At least some of them. This one is trying to see the lizard. Where's the lizard? There it is, in the middle on the branch. Now I saw it, he's smiling and seems a bit embarrassed. Okay. Very well camouflaged. There it is. Here's another basilisk next to this turtle. They have turtles for company. They seem to be getting along very well. And here the turtle just jump into the water and miss the action. And you'll see it in a moment. So here's the basilisk, feeling a little bit lonely now. Here's the little turtle that jumped into the water, and he's found another turtle there. So she got some company, see your feet. It's not a very big zoo. They have animals of different kinds. They have some elephants and lions among the bigger animals, but they were in their pens, so I couldn't really film them. And here's a mix of fish and reptiles. They have just these chimpanzees. It's a pair of elderly chimpanzees. In addition to the squirrel monkeys, these are the only primates they have. And he's certainly a very elderly fellow or lady, and has no one to groom him or her, and so he's grooming himself. It's probably a lady. And there's another one, somewhat slightly younger. He's come over here to say hello to the visitors. Unfortunately, one of the visitors insisted of being in front of everyone else so no one else could take a picture or a view even of the chimpanzee. And a girl replaced her. The girl had some makeup on her face, being Halloween, so she scared off the chimpanzee. Didn't like that he didn't like that Halloween makeup. And another vanity exhibit. I find this very macabre myself. So there are some earth burial mounds that are aligned to the day of the Halloween, and it is believed that it was celebrated by the ancients. Halloween possibly comes from the English word hallow and wane, as it's waning lights, or possibly it's a Nordic origin. Of course, English is Germanic, of some sort of Germanic and Nordic origin. Hell, there was a goddess of hell, Halle in Germany, called Halle in Scandinavia. Possibly that's also related to Halloween. But it was presumably, this is all lost in time. We don't exactly understand, but it was apparently just a commemoration of the dead ancestors. An important festivity of some sort. Here's some penguins. And here's a a sloth. He or she is moving as fast as it can. They're vegetarians. They eat leaves that are very low in nutrients, and so, as you can imagine, it takes them forever to metabolize them, so their food source is not very rich in energy. So he's slowed down now, he's yawning, it's about time to go to sleep. And the little girl that scared the chimpanzee earlier is now being photographed with its skeleton. You can see why the chimpanzee got scared off. And that was the end of my visit to Halle on Martin Luther's anniversary. Thank you for watching.